Hey crafty cuties, welcome back to Paper Terrace. I'm really excited for today's video. We're gonna do some fun crafting, and this is something that you can use in a variety of projects, so hopefully you are here and ready to have some fun. I was recently inspired going through my own stash of Halloween when I found this dyed paper. Forget the writing, I used it in my planner, but the paper was just so much fun. It was kind of like a Halloween dyed situation. And I think I had another piece that was even grungier somewhere. Well, I don't know where it is now, but it was even grungier than that, and I loved it. So we're going to just make some what I call fall dyed papers today, and a lot of this is experimenting, but regardless, I know it's all going to turn out fun. So I have a variety of papers, and I have a little bucket here. This has a mixture of instant coffee and then probably 10 tea bags. And the tea bags are like a pumpkin spice scent. It's pretty yummy. I don't really think the scent usually carries over onto the paper for long with tea, but the coffee definitely will a little bit. So you could use tea if you don't like the coffee scent and vice versa. And then I also have a variety of inks, and this is really fun and I feel like it's going to really make the most difference. And I have some leaves here for experimenting, and I have some different lace pieces, and I got a whole coffee dyeing kit from Amore Fabric. So I wanted to mention that if this seems overwhelming and you're just like, where can I just buy everything? I will see if she still has that kit in her shop, but a lot of these things you can get at the Dollar Tree. We're jumping right in because we got to wait for things to dry and whatnot. I'm taking a piece of paper, dipping her right on in. This is not printer paper right here. It's kind of like a thin art paper, because I can see it says like Strathmore, and it's pretty old, so I don't know exactly, but I use printer paper a ton, so you can just use whatever you've got. I have some saran wrap on my table here to help clean up. I'm gonna dip like 2 papers at a time. We're gonna do some experimenting. Now this is gonna be a little bit more involved than a normal coffee dyeing, just because I'm kind of doing some different techniques on each paper. But I feel like once you kind of get the hang of what you like, it's not too bad, and we have all of our supplies out. So I've already used these leaves, but I'm going to use them again, and I'm gonna try to stick them around the paper kind of randomly, and they might have some ink left over from last time. I'm gonna grab a couple more. These are some leaves that I gathered the other day. I showed you guys one video where I gathered leaves and used them to make like a little bookmark, but I actually have even more ideas coming. I am obsessing over leaves right now, so this is definitely not my only idea. Now, I've tried this a couple times already, and these aren't going to work as good as a stencil, at least from what I've tried so far, but it does give kind of a cool effect, I thought. So now I'm going to go in with the ink of choice. Let's try this scattered straw first, and I'm just going to take a paper towel because I don't want too much water pooling for this part, because I find that the drier it is, the better you can get kind of a stencil effect. At the same time, if the leaves are a little damp, they will kind of press down and suction down a little bit better. So I feel like this is a nice color because it sort of has the same effect as coffee dyed color, but it's a little darker. So we're kind of like faking it here, and I'm all right with that. Now that's a lot of ink for sure. So come in with my towel. This is gonna give a cool kind of effect, texture, whatever you want to say. And I'm going around the tips of the leaves because that's where I really would love to have some precise detailing showing up. Okay, we're gonna go like that. Next, I think I'm gonna use a little bit of this bundled sage. We'll be doing a couple kind of different techniques, and I'm realizing right now that I need to bring you guys back a little bit. Sorry about that. I'm at the edge of my desk, and I'm kind of trying to show you everything without having my phone on the tripod over the coffee dye. Ooh, I like the green with the orange a lot. We'll do that, and then this, oh sorry, and that, yeah, that was oxide bundled sage. This is gonna give a chalkier feel, and then this is spice marmalade, one of my favorites, and I'm running low on it. Oh, that was, okay. If you want more of the ink splatters, you kind of have to try not to press down all the way, but another option is by opening these, I do this a lot too, and kind of tapping it. I'm using a bunch of colors right now. Is this not even coming out? Or is it really just that light that it's not showing up? That could be. Okay. I have this Distress Ink and Picket Fence. I'm kind of curious if I can. I feel like I'm gonna need to find like a paintbrush to get a fun effect. In fact, I will grab one. I'm going to just put some up here. Oh yeah. Kind of dip it in my fan brush and then, oh yeah, that's fun. And again, if we wanted these like ink splatters to be more pronounced, you can wait till the paper actually dries and then do it. Oh, well, my entire thing fell. Okay. We're doing this with the leaves on in hopes that when I pull the leaves off, you'll have that effect. Now, I'm going to make some room to actually place another paper to the left, because when I pull these leaves off, they'll have some ink on them as well. And I'm gonna actually just line a little bit more than with Saran wrap. Yeah, let's dip this in first. This is just regular graph paper. It's very thin. And we'll also grab another one of these white sheets, because I feel like the white sheets are a little bit thicker, and I think that they might be able to take on all of the different techniques a little bit better. Okay, so we're gonna take these off and hope for some kind of cool effect. Okay, and then see, this has ink on it, and then we're gonna place it. I'm gonna pull you out, I promise, so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing over to the side. You'll just have to kind of bear with me here. And then if you want to, if you see extra liquid pooling around the leaf shape, you can kind of blot it up. And actually the backs of the leaves, I don't know why I was thinking the backs of the leaves would be the one that have all of the ink splatter. And there's not a ton, so okay, very cool. One more. And I am going to, okay, again, that was just kind of for experimenting, so I think it looks pretty cool. You know, it's not like a super precise leaf shape, but I think it's obvious to me what that was, and I kind of just like the effect. Now I have some plastic on my floor over here next to my heater that's on. That way these can hopefully dry a little quicker. And I'll show you one of the first ones that I had tried, and it's already drying up, and I had some other random inks around it, but that looks really fun. Now I think what I'm going to try next is more of a grungy look. I'll just let these papers off to the side sit. And I'm hoping that I can just set these out today and let them dry kind of naturally with my heater versus putting them in the oven. Most of the time I put them in the oven, so I just want to try something different. So for these grungy look, trying to make sure you can actually see what I'm working on. We dipped it in the coffee dye tea solution. Now I'm going to do some sprays of scattered straw. And I am kind of pressing down on this little nozzle halfway. That does give you more ink splatters than a whole spray, but I do find that when it's getting close to the end of your bottle, it kind of is harder to do. So do a few sprays of that. Okay, now I'm trying to remember, because when I did this before, I had like really dark, like even blacks. So I think instead of black though, I'm gonna use this ground espresso, and it is really, really dark. So let's these colors are sort of pulling together, which is fun. But if I want to add the black and have it be more paint splatters, I don't want too much excess liquid. Oops. Okay, so I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna actually open it, and then I'm just gonna, yeah, because this is really dark. But it will dry a little lighter. Not much, but more of a brown, like it probably kind of looks black on camera. Definitely gonna give it a fun grungy look, but also a little bit different than just if we were to dip this into ground espresso spray, if that makes sense. Next, I also have some shimmer sprays. And whoops, this is Distress Spritz Spray. This one's in fossilized amber, and it gives a really pretty shimmer to your papers. You can't always see it when I'm just spraying it right now because it has a clear base. I'm gonna come over here. Ooh, let me show you these leaves because you can actually really see it on the leaves. But once it's dry, if you even have it mildly into the sun or like light, it will be very shimmery. So it's a really cool look. But look at this. Oh my gosh, this gave me an idea because I'm definitely going to do some fun things with this, with these sprayed leaves. Not right now, but yes, that is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, like look at this. Yeah, that is so, so pretty. I'm kind of wondering if, so we're gonna move on to our next experiment. I'm gonna set these aside. These look kind of fun, kind of different. I think they're good. I'm gonna set them over here. And then I wanna experiment a little bit more with those pretty leaves. Oops. Try not to get ink all over my ground. This is definitely kind of different looking. I will be showing you the final papers as well. I'll have to probably let them dry overnight. Let's just try one real quick to see how this will go. I'm gonna dip it in coffee because I really like having that kind of coffee dyed background to get started with. But I want a really dry start to this. And I'm kind of wondering if I spray onto the leaf again, like a fresh spray of that gold color, then I stamp it. I'm wondering if it would get any of the leaf details. It might not, but we're gonna give it a try. We'll just start with one just to see, rather than going all the way through. Darn. No, not quite, but it was a good attempt. Okay, I'm wondering, what if we're gonna try one more thing, and I know, again, you can't really see over here. I'm gonna spray one again, but with a darker color and see. It might just be too, like, wet on wet. So let's just try it onto a dry. That might be what is needed, and maybe it's still not gonna work, and that's fine because the leaves look really cool. but I am pressing down pretty hard to make sure there's no like air pockets in there. I'm gonna be really surprised if this doesn't work. Okay, it does. It kind of seems like the wetter, the better, kind of. Let's try another one. I'm gonna try again with just the Distress Spritz, but on the dry sheet again. This would definitely be pretty time consuming, like if you were gonna do this all over. But if you're just doing it for like personal use, it could be possible. I do think I have a really cool idea for the leaves regardless when we're all done here. Well, okay, I'm not, there's a start, but not loving it. So we're gonna move on and continue playing around. I'm just gonna dip this whole thing in coffee. And we are gonna continue just making some fun. The funny thing is the coffee, after I put it in the coffee dye, the leaf actually kind of still shows up, but I think that's a little too time consuming for what I was going after. So we're just gonna kind of grunge these up. Do that. I'm not gonna do the spice marmalade since it's running out. I am gonna come back here and see what other colors I have. Ooh, carved pumpkin. Heck yes, let's do carved pumpkin. That's a really pretty color. Okay, didn't even know I had that, so. Whoa. Okay, sometimes I think maybe you just can't always get, that's a lot. Maybe it's just impossible to always get the paint splatters, but it still gives a really cool kind of base to it. Either kind of like that, and then I think I really do like, let's try more of a, you know what, I'm gonna take a lace. We'll go like this. And we will take another one. Okay, we're gonna go like that. Kind of just put lace all over them. Then I'm going to spray this really dark ground espresso. Oh, that is so dark. Whew. Now that's a lot of ink also, so I'm going to get any of it up. Any excess, just putting a dry piece of paper. And I am gonna dip this in the coffee dye in a moment, but, oh, that's fun. Look at that. Or maybe I'm not, heck. That looks pretty cool as is. Yeah, that was a lot of excess ink. Let me see, what? I don't think that, okay, this is a Distress spray, not an oxide. I'm kind of curious if I put it in the coffee dye, if it's going to take that whole design away. But we'll only know one way by, okay, this isn't a perfect one, so we're gonna plop her in. Oh, this is fun actually because it's very messy. We'll just plop those right there. Because I like how you can see the orange base that we originally did, like at least on this one. This one over here on the right got pretty dark, but hey, that's one way to go grungy. Okay, trying to pick this up and it's kind of glued here. Well, that one not perfect, but it's still pretty cool. This one I do think has potential, and I think it's gonna look cool once it's dry as well. Yeah, I like how you can see the orange in the background. Okay, grab out. Okay, well that's pretty cool actually, because it did not like wash away the design. So therefore I am going to put this other piece in too, because I feel like it needs a bit more something going on. My desk is a mess, guys. Now I think I'm gonna go in again with the colors, but I think I'm gonna try to, oh, this got bent somehow. That's weird. I'll just do some droplets like this. Maybe one spray. I think I'm gonna add in some green too. Okay, coming over here. And okay, I'm gonna move these two over to my little drying station. And then I think we'll do just a couple more together. These are all definitely different and fun. I love experimenting with dyed papers. Okay. I'm just leaving all of the ink down because I'm always just kind of fine with whatever ends up is cool with me. I'm gonna take these leaves again. They've been kind of inked, kind of like that. And I think I will leave them a little bit longer than I had been. Let's get another paper. We'll go with the graph paper. The graph paper is very thin, so you only want to dip your thin papers in like kind of once, real quick. Let me try to unfold this without breaking it. There, should be okay. I'll take these remaining leaves and place them over here. And I will say, if you don't want your hands getting messed up with ink, you might want to wear gloves, but I'm fine with it. Okay, gonna take my messy paper towels and kind of blot up extra liquid on the papers over to my left. Ooh, these ones got shimmered good because I kept spraying the leaves. So that looks actually cool. They're so shimmery. I kind of feel like these ones need a little bit more color, so maybe a little bit more orange, but some splatters would be good. Whoa, I dropped it, but that's okay. Place these over. All right. And if you're dyeing your papers and you're not wanting them to, like, if you dye a paper and you want it to hopefully stay how it is, I would recommend not stacking your papers to dry, but I always stack mine because I just never have any specific ideas on how my papers come out. We'll do some very orange. And then, let's see. Gonna take another over here. And then I'm probably just going to continue this same situation that I keep doing. Whoa. And I'm gonna let these dry probably overnight. That's fun. And then from there, I will show you the final in this video. So you'll see it in probably the next clips. These are cool. Okay, I like this. So it definitely seems pretty fun and like a pretty cool outcome, I think, to get inks on your leaves and then could just continue using the same ones over and over. It doesn't give you a very precise look at the leaves, but at the same time, I really like it. Let's see if I can get this one up to show you. I mean, we'll have to see what it looks like when these are dry, for sure. But these are really fun. Like this one, yeah, I really like. I'll place this over here. All right. Okay guys, I'm gonna continue my inking here and I'll see you back with some final papers. Next day, let's go through. I have not looked through these, so we're doing the final reveal together, but let me tell you, these papers smell so good. Oh my goodness. So right off the bat, we have one where the leaves stenciled really nicely. You can even see like the actual stem. So I feel like it's very obvious that it's a leaves, I should say. And I always love, so this is what you get when you are stacking the papers. Sometimes you'll have like a strip that either takes away ink or makes it darker or grungier from the paper that was next to it. And I always love that when you're dyeing papers that you're going to have kind of a double-sided look. Really cool how these like darker splotchy areas kind of show up, but if you can see, at least in person, it's a little bit more noticeable. There is the leaf imprint that is white on the back side. It's a very gloomy day, so I know the lighting's not great. This one has some really cool detail, and I'm pretty sure you can see that shimmer. That comes from that oxide shimmer spray, but the leaves look really cool on this one. And when I am looking at these papers, I'm also kind of keeping in mind that I'm going to be folding these to use as a page in a journal. So it's kind of fun because you'll have like 4 different kind of looks to your one page. This one is super grungy. I love the like watermarks. You can actually see the leaves here as well. I didn't add leaves, you know, to every single paper. When I left you, I ended up dyeing some more papers for quite a while. So even just like the coffee dyed looks, I love that so much. It's not as grungy, I think, as the papers that I had found in my Halloween stash, but I still really like it. Love the shimmer for sure, and the orange, the pops of orange throughout is really cool. Yeah, I think I was a little nervous to go too heavy on that dark espresso ink because it was showing up really dark, and I knew that it would lighten up, but I just didn't want it to be, I don't know, like too dark, I guess. But I can see now, and I'll know for next time, that it really doesn't show up too dark. I mean, it does show up pretty dark at first, but it does lighten up. Here's a good example. So this is one where I used those lace pieces. And again, this will be fun to fold in half because I feel like it just looks really good as a page. Super fun. Yeah, that dark espresso ink, definitely. I feel like it looks good though. I think it's a good balance. The graph paper took that orange color really nicely. This one did have leaves on it, but I feel like it's a little less obvious, but it still gives some really nice variation. Well, okay, this looks like super, not 3D, but I don't even know how to explain it. It looks like that lace print is like in the paper. I feel like I would have to be more patient if I was wanting to do the lace on more of the papers, just because you do kind of have to let the lace sit there for a bit before taking it away to get a good imprint. But definitely worth it for a few of them. Now, I had a bunch of these lined papers out, but they were such a thin paper that when I was dipping them in the coffee, they would tear very easily. Luckily, I was able to salvage some, but when I'm coming across that, I will just either decide, am I going to just use this paper as like collaging, so it's fine if it tears, but I really needed pages. Okay, this looks super cool, and I feel like this look is gonna go so nicely in my fall journals. And I don't even know, like, I'm not sure if this was from the coffee, or I think it was just how the coffee was kind of pooled on there. I don't think that was the dark espresso ink on this one. Yeah, it looks so cool. Look at that. Again, that's the fun of dyeing papers like this and trying out different things. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is kind of exactly what I was going for. It's kind of spooky, but also fall. The shimmer really adds a lot to these pages. And I have used these type of pages before that has the shimmer spray, and I will say that it's still very easy to write on. Ooh, yeah, this smells so good. Love the orange. It looks so nice. I'm not seeing a bunch of green, and I think I sprayed green on so many of these, but we'll see as we get along, because maybe I just haven't got to some of them. Love the ink splatters of the orange. You did have to be more patient with that too, because I think it shows up best when you would do the ink splatters on a more dry paper. And again, since I was stacking these, I had quite a few stacks because I didn't have the most space to stack them, and I'm sure that you guys can relate to that. So I'm always fine with just having whatever ends up showing up. I'm fine with it. Some more of the line papers, and again, so I think I interrupted myself and didn't mention that I did as many as I could of these, but when they really started tearing a lot, I switched over to, I think, the graph paper, just because I wanted them to be pretty good for full journal pages. Loving that brown kind of, I don't know, the little lines throughout. See, this one was tearing. But I will say that even with really, really thin paper, if you can be careful and not have it rip during the dyeing process, when it dries, it is actually quite a bit more sturdy. And I find that to be the case with all paper, whoops, even like printer paper. Oh, that's so pretty. When I am using like a thin printer paper, once it's dry, it's actually more sturdy than it was before. So pretty. This one is awesome. I should do a little pile of like my favorites. Love that one too. Actually, yeah, definitely I will say I wish I used more darker colors. You can see some leaves here, and the back is really cool. Love that. I think this is a good, yeah, I think this is a good combo. I didn't want them all to have the leaves on them, but I wanted some. It's just so cool because, like I said, you'll never really be able to tell what you're gonna get. I love that though. Even though this one's ripped, I'll still be able to use it. Ooh, that's a cool one. These are gonna look so cool in the journals. I'll definitely have to show you. This looks kind of spooky. I am very happy with how these turned out. Oh, love that. This too, yep. I remember this one. I was like, ooh, that's gonna be so dark. Oh yeah, and the leaves on the back were really dark. I think I sprayed these leaves with the dark espresso, I forget which ink it was, but I sprayed the leaf and then used it as a stamp, and I was pretty sure that it was just going to kind of get muddled in the paper, but it ended up really cool. Oh yeah, I just love it. Well, these were so fun. Oh my gosh, this one is really cool. Okay. I can never really quite remember, you know, what I did to get a certain look. And again, I think you have to go into the dyeing process as just knowing that you get what you get. But this one's really cool. Let me just show you that again. So I used the leaf as a stamp. Well, that was really fun. I hope that I inspired you guys to do some paper dyeing if you haven't yet, or if you just need some for your collection. It's actually a really nice, soothing experience and project. And I love how they turned out. Mine are still a teeny bit damp, not much, but I'll need to set them out for the rest of the day. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye.